this point, I'd like to remove number 10, closed session, as we will not need one for today. So can I have a motion to, okay? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, so with that, we'll go to introduction and guests. I see quite a few, but why don't we start first row? Representing CSEA?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Second row,
Mateo Buenaluz.
welcome. It's been a while, we haven't seen you either. Behind you, or to the side of you, you're
Gina Garcia.
Gina Garcia. Okay, thank you. And the back row, welcome, gentlemen. Okay, why don't we get a communications, and just a reminder that we go for 3 minutes unless we extended it with a vote of the commission, a maximum of 20 minutes, unless extended by the commission and allocated for each subject discussed. Ordinarily, the commissioners will not respond to comments, and no action will be taken. However, the Personnel Commission may give direction to staff following the comment. So why don't we go with number A, CSEA?
Nothing to report.
Okay. B, District Administration.
Nothing to report.
Okay. And C, who gave me the card first? Okay. Why don't we get Mr. Humphreys regarding constituents?
Okay, glad you can hear me. Today we're going to address something more specifically to your bailiwick here, and that is the Personnel Commission. As you know, the city of Pasadena, or the Unified School District over there, they've done away with their Personnel Commission. And as well, I didn't know that there are only 92 Personnel Commissions in the whole state of California, with 1,026 as the total districts participating. But there are primary issues in this. How do you do that? Well, they say, hey, if the classified employees all vote thumbs down, hey, it's gone. That's what they're saying in this article in the Tribune. Tribune is the Bible on that. And so they just got to get a majority, a simple majority, and it's gone. And then, of course, the Board of Supervisors for Pasadena Unified, unanimous on that. But then we come to the numbers. It's called the math. They have 900 classified employees. Only 308 did the voting, and 125 in favor. Now, help me with the math, folks. You know, there's an issue here. And then we have constituents of the, not of the population, but of the district are saying, hey, well, you know, it's 50% is the majority of those who voted, not the total population of the 900. And this goes to the situation. What are you going to tell your kids? Is this the way adults play? Is that the way you want them to grow up to be? And it kind of is reminiscent of this school district, and Mr. Flores can attest to that, where the industry standard is 10% of the total bond building function. And our district went up, tell me, help me, Mr. Woodson, 14%, and they were saying, oh, you don't want to hear it. It'll make you cry to hear the excuse that came up. But these are the games adults play. So people, as you remember, Cat Stevens says, Dad, I grew up to be just like you. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, Mr. Mateo. More paper.
My name is Mateo Buenaluz. I work for Building Services, and I'm the electronics repair technician. The position that you guys opened up in our department, the mechanical systems supervisor, I've spoken with Joan about it already. But on the experience, when the Personnel Commission did the changes for that, this position was only open to the HVAC, to any HVAC technician. And we went through on 2014 to try to make it open for all the 4 different classifications that are in there: electronics repair technician, the electrician, the plumbers, and the HVAC techs. But if you look at the way the experience is written out, it says, experience 3 years of full-time journey level experience in one of the following trades: HVAC, and refrigeration, electrical, or plumbing is required. My trade is not on there specifically because we do not deal with electrical per se. We do deal with mechanical systems when we deal with any kind of the lighting, the fire alarm system, surveillance system, and stuff like that. But specifically on experience-wise, that's not there. I spoke with Joan, and Joan said for me I could still put in my resume for it, but I just want to make sure that if this ends up getting flown again, that that position gets put in there as experience-wise. Because I know two of the PC here was during that time when we did that. And we spent probably 4 months going through the changes and making it so it was an equal opportunity for all 4 classifications. But the way it's written now, only 3 of those classifications will be able to go. And I just want to make sure this was all noted.
Okay, clarify your position, your title.
My title is electronics repair technician.
Repair.
Yep.
Okay.
And just the way it's written, and yes, we deal with electronics, but if you look at it, the definition for electrical is totally different than what we work with. Yes, we're dealing with the 110. The 110 voltage is feeding our equipment, but some of the wiring and stuff we do is low voltage. And a lot of things that, okay, fire alarms and all that stuff. But it would be nice that that trade, that skill set would be added to that experience if there's not enough applicants for this time around, but maybe it could be added later on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, with that, I'll go to 4, report to Oh, I'm sorry. Gina Garcia, I'm sorry. Garcia.
Hello, my name is Gina Garcia, and I work in the special education department. And I work as my classification currently is an IA2. And I submitted some information regarding my job title, my job description to Astrid, and she met with Scott and Scott Jensen. I've been off work for about 8 months now. But now that I've returned, I did speak to her regarding what the status was, and she said it's still lying in the personnel committee's hands regarding working out a classification and my job description. There is currently only, I believe, 3 of us in the district, and when we were hired as IA2's behavior aides. So, yeah, I just wanted to know what the status was on that. And I haven't spoken to Joan about this, but I have spoken to Scott. A couple of us presented it to Scott over a year ago, I believe. And then they said the status was still, it's in the personnel committee's hands at this time.
Okay.
I'll have to check into that, because you're right, I don't have any paperwork on this, so I can check with HR or those involved with the situation to make sure that you get a response or how it's handled.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So you will follow up on that, please. Okay, 5, we have no hearings. 6, personnel commission. 6.1, approve the minutes of the regular meeting of September 11, 2018. Motion on the floor. Jane?
Garcia?
Second by Ms. Lee. Any comments, any changes? Yes. Okay, without any comments, we'll call for the vote. All in favor? Okay, items for discussion and or action. 7.1, events. Oh, did I? Wow.
Yeah.
I'm fast. Okay, 4. I'm in the mood. Gotta go.
All right, thank you for coming this afternoon. Reports, my report today will consist of some of the recruitments that we opened since our last commission meeting. They include Executive Secretary, Instructional Assistant 2 Series, Mechanical Systems Supervisor, the Office Assistant Series, and Personal Care Assistant. The exams that we conducted during the last since the last commission meeting were air conditioning and heating mechanic, a performance test and a structured interview, campus aide, a written test, computer lab technician and computer lab technician bilingual Spanish, a written test, grounds construction worker, a performance test and structured interview, school bus driver, performance test, school office manager, both regular and bilingual, we did a structured interview. We referred out the following list during the last month: administrative secretary, bilingual Spanish, air conditioning and heating mechanic, grounds construction worker, instructional assistant 2 and bilingual Spanish, personal care assistant, and school bus driver. We processed 2 new employees since the last commission meeting, 1 cook and 1 district safety employee. Updates and reminders. So the annual report of the commission was distributed throughout the district on Friday, September 28th. The report is also posted on the personal commission website, and I emailed it out to the whole district, and there's a few copy out in the lobby if anybody would like another copy. Today, staff went to Mount San Antonio College Career and Transfer Services. They hosted a career fair today from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Ms. Wilson was out representing our table, as well as Ms. Samudio from our commission, and we had opened up a lot of recruitments, and they were very excited to hand out a lot of bulletins to students there and encourage them to apply. And I want to thank Jolene for starting out her day at Mount Sac and ending it right back here in the boardroom.
Very enjoyable, I enjoyed it.
Thank you so much for going. The annual open enrollment for benefits is happening right now, so if changes are needed, you need to go to room P2 on Wednesday, October 3rd from 7 to 4, or on Thursday, October 4th at Nogales from 7 to 5. And don't forget, there's a health fair happening where you can get some raffle prizes, fitness demos, chair massages, healthy snacks, and giveaways. Our district is going to participate in the Great Shakeout on Thursday, October 18th at 10:18 a.m. And Personnel Commission staff has coordinated a climbing the career ladder at Rowland Unified on Monday, November 5th from 4:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. This is an unpaid training, and we already have 38 employees signed up for training, and we may have to add an extra session.
Do you know where it'll be?
Right here in the boardroom. It's on Monday, November 5th, 4:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. Did you get the email, Vivian?
I think I replied, I think I signed up for it.
Okay.
That's why I'm like, let me make sure. that
We
I
can
did.
double check.
What training is this?
It's called Climbing the Career Ladder, and basically it just talks about the processes that we use to apply, and it talks about some testing techniques and interview skills.
And what were the times again?
It's 4:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. right here in the boardroom on November 5th, Monday.
Thank you.
And we're probably gonna have to add another session. So what I'll do is probably get another date, and then all the people who responded, I'll let them pick what day works better for them. So we can even it out. I prefer to have like 20, 25 at the most. So we'll see what happens, because within 3 hours, we had 30 people, so it was pretty quick response. And I'm very happy about that, so I'm happy to add another session.
Okay, hearing that, we'll go to 7.1. Advanced salary step placement. We'll go to A, consider approving the advanced salary step request from Donald Gray, risk manager, to employ applicant in 19921088 in the class of district patrol at step D of range 19 on the classified salary schedule. Motion please. And Ms. Lee seconded. Any comments, questions? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor? B, consider approving the advanced salary step request from Scott Jensen, Director of Special Education, to employ applicant 325233032 in the class of speech language pathology assistant at step B of range 24.5 of the classified salary schedule. For a motion? Ms. Jane, second Ms. Lee. Any comments, questions? Hearing that, we'll call for the vote. All in favor? Aye. C, consider approving the advanced salary step request from Mitch Bruner, principal of Rowland High School, to employ applicant 3661407 in the class of accompanist the piano at step C at range 18.5 in the classified salary schedule. Motion? Ms. Lee, second? Okay. Again, any questions or none? Call for the vote. All in favor? Aye. D, consider approving the advanced salary step request from Donald Gray, risk manager, to employ applicant 442534 in the class of district safety at step E of range 20 on the classified salary schedule. Okay, Ms. Lee, second by Ms. Lee. Oh, I'm sorry, his glasses are reading. Okay, any questions? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor? Aye. Sorry, Ronald. E, consider approving the advanced salary step request from Ronald Gray, risk manager, to employ applicant 23707-899 in the class of district safety at step B of range 20 on the classified salary schedule. Have a motion open. Ms. Yang and Ms. Lee. All in favor? Aye. Okay, 7.2 reallocation. Consider approving the recommended reallocation of Maria Davia, Director of Nutrition Services, of a vacant food service assistant 2 position at a food service assistant 1 position. Motion? Okay. Any comments, questions? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Aye. 7.3, here we go. Receive the first reading of proposed amendments to Chapter 15 by adding Rule 15.21, unpaid leave of absence related to inability to perform essential job duties. Okay, I understand, Mr. Bixler, did you want any comments on that, or do you want any questions?
If there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer, or Joan can, I'm sure.
Okay, what we're just basically doing is basically somebody who has driving, who's in need of driving, and I understand bus drivers, that is their true job. The first essential duty is to drive. I'm also questioning, how about maintenance and operations when, say, you have a team? Say if one, they don't necessarily say that this one has to drive, but they take turns, would that also affect them? You know what I'm saying?
Sure. So,
Drivers only, I'm sorry.
no,
It's for any, basically.
so the recommendation that Ms. Spiegelmar has presented to you is a revision to the Personnel Commission rules based on a problem that's in the Personnel Commission rules. And that is that we have folks who would be bus drivers. And in the event that their driver's license is suspended, or a license that they need as a requisite for the position is suspended or lapses, then they should not be eligible to be working at that point in time. You know, that there are times where we find alternative assignments for folks, but that's not always possible. And in the light of a certificated world, which is the world that the Human Resources Division works under, say for instance when a teacher's credential is lapsed, it expires, just like our driver's licenses expire. They're pulled from the classroom and they're not paid. By state law, we can't pay them. This would be a similar type of situation that would allow us to do that in the world of classified.
I think what Ms. Fernandez was asking me earlier is, let's just say there was 2 painters, or painters in the district, and one painter, you know, they're supposed to drive their own district vehicle, and they're supposed to, and go out to their work assignment, but you have another painter, so if one painter was to have their license revoked, what would happen? Would they team up? Would you try to accommodate, or?
Depends on the situation. We would speak with the supervisor and see if it is something that could be accommodated. In situations in the past, in other places, sometimes there are teams that work and are assigned to one vehicle, where there's multiple, 2 or 3 people assigned to one vehicle, and then it's not a hardship on the district to say, I'll swap with you for this time period. If it's a hardship, then that's a different situation.
That's basically what I was asking, because normally I'm used to just having a painter and and a worker one, and the thing, and either or could drive, so if the patron wasn't allowed to, the worker one would still be able to get up to where they're supposed to be going, so my question was that.
Yeah, if they're working in teams and they're both driving a vehicle, that'd be something that we could take a look at.
But are we
But if
not,
someone is solely responsible for that driving,
Yeah,
then that may be a different
that's a decision.
situation. And driving is just one example.
Okay.
so driving is only the one example, and so this could cover any other type of disability, but they,
This isn't about disabilities. This is about licensure. Holding a license to do a job that is required.
will it be specified?
The positions you say, or is
It's
that
like,
what
here, because it said unpaid leave of absence relates to inability to perform essential job duties, but I don't see any.
I see what, so I completely understand where
That's
this
why I'm
is.
confused, I'm like, wait, is
Yeah.
it about licenses, or?
This is about licensure. This brief explanation that's in the agenda doesn't capture the intent of the rule. In fact, it would probably be better so that you would read the rule out loud so that everyone can hear it, or give them a copy so that this is not about avoiding disabilities, because we have an absolute federal responsibility to engage folks who have a potential disability, and we do that regularly through the Americans with Disabilities Act, and it's called an ADA interactive meeting. So that's not what this is.
So everybody does have a copy, it's on 7.32 of 2. If you would skip a little bit further in the agenda, everybody does have a copy of the draft. But I do see what she's saying. This says, I mean, I don't know if we should add the word, because this section appears to be talking about driving, or that's,
lots of?
I mean, the two examples we talked about here, the bullet points, are you there, Dennis, too? Is that it talks about driving a district vehicle, or basically school bus driver having to have that. Maybe in the title, we should talk about to perform essential job duties of driving.
Well, it's not just driving, so we do have other positions, like an electrician, who has to have an electrical license. We have other positions who require licensure, so this could affect that as well.
Okay, so any license.
But most simple explanation, most simple example would be driving.
Well, would you say we needed another bullet, because we're basically honing in on vehicles, whether it be a bus driver,
Or building services
a
staff.
building services staff.
I think the second bullet, suspension, cancellation, or revocation of a license, or a certificate or license required for the position, or failure to maintain a valid certificate or license, which includes a license to drive when driving is an essential function of the employee's job duties, and or a school bus certificate for an employee's school bus driver. So it's pretty all encompassing.
All right.
So my understanding of the way that you had written this was that both of those bullets would be part of the new rules, not just an example of the agenda.
Donna, you had a
Would this
question?
include also like for instructional aides, where it's mandated that we have to have our first aid CPR within our district? And sometimes they expire as well. Would that include, would this be included under this as well, or is you were just talking license?
This
So that's a
is,
certificate, but this is different. This is,
this, I don't know whether we had contemplated that avenue.
Well, to get a CPR license or a first aid is relatively easily done, quick to do, to get that. And the district offers professional training on that, so we are hoping those don't elapse. And also, HR does send out notices about your expiring. So that's kind of a simple thing to do, unlike if your driver's license is revoked, or some other building
I think,
service license.
yeah, because I think the way you're talking about when it goes to certifications and licensing, that's up to the employee that ends up having that certification or license. Because it's up to us to keep whatever license and stuff that was asked from us, from the district, up to date.
Like there's that universal license that's needed for the HVAC.
Yeah, there's
Or
the, there's the one for, I think when it deals with just the gases and stuff.
refrigerant.
Yeah, because that's something that the MSS position needs to also be get before the end of that probational period for that.
Correct. So if someone didn't maintain those certificates or that licensure, that could be grounds for suspension while you obtain that.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Okay, now.
I just got a question. Again, first aid CPR, who sends those out? Because I've never received one at my.
And they're always behind.
Is it HR or who sends those out?
Special Education Department generally sends those out, and as you'll recall, we've offered first aid CPR training every year for the
Yeah,
last
almost on a
3
yearly
years at the
Right.
winter conference, and we'll be doing that again.
No, I always get it through them, and they always either, they don't let us know, I'm on top of it, okay? But I've known a lot of people that are not, and then they let them know way past after, they didn't even know they were expired. Or we take the training, and months later, you still don't get the cards. And then they're telling you, I took it at this day with this, person, so they have to track that down. They say, oh, it's your responsibility. I understand, but if they don't give me the card, how do I give it to you? So we're having a lot of, like the last one that I took last December, I still don't have a card.
I thought that Ms. Garcia, my secretary, had
Just
I never
updates
got
it.
one.
received.
I mean, other than carrying the card, but as long as it's updated in the file, says it already
in the
has
file.
one, and we're just updating, it's still current.
One of my personal technicians gets the list from Miss Garcia, and she enters it into the system of those that took the training, and that's how she does it. Typically, we don't get a copy of your first aid card anymore,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure if whoever we use furnishes those CPR cards, I'm not sure.
The person totally different topic for a different day.
Yeah, right.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I just.
Okay.
We were aware of that problem, and
Yeah.
as far as I was aware, it was fixed. So if not, you can contact my secretary, we
What was that?
Okay.
can, Rita Garcia.
Well, thank you for your input on this. I think it was good to make sure that second bullet covers just suspension, cancellation, or revocation of a certificate or license, as well as going into driver's license.
Thank you.
I have a question. I know that the person who, the licensee is supposed to be responsible for, keep the license or the certificate updated, or effective. So do we have a system that we check it out, say, because if it's expired or it's invalid, usually, the authority will inform the licensee. I'm not sure they will inform us or not.
So as far as what we make sure when we hire somebody, because our process is the onboarding, we make sure everybody turns it into us and it's valid at the time that they're offered or hired.
Okay.
And then that information is put into the human resource system, it's called HRS. And then when they become an employee, let's say of special ed, they need to note those dates of, they typically ask, when is your first aid, when's your CPR? So that secretary, admin sec could keep track of that and possibly notify. So pretty much it's up to the departments to maintain that. And special ed is the biggest one that has that. And then there's a lot of office assistants out there, so that need it as well.
Okay, so in other words, we do have a system to keep checking, make sure that they are all valid or it's renewed or extended at the.
We can run
it's supposed to.
We can run a report out of the HRS system to let everybody know what their expiration date. In fact, oftentimes, HR can run this report, but when Ann was in the position before, she would say, can you run a list of everybody and their expiration dates, and we would give that to her.
My concern, especially, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
My concern will be, primarily for driver's license, if you have DUI, everybody knows it except your employer. It's like personal, and DMV will not inform you. So in this case, do we periodically have the employee sign the affidavit to say that they don't have those records, or how do we handle that part?
So when they fill out their application, there's a part on it that, because we're a public employer, that they do fill out, you have to notify us of convictions. And then obviously, when we run their fingerprints, that does come up. And at that time, Mr. Bixler signs off on that, or we have a process. Now, let's say now you've become an employee and your fingerprints are in the system, we do get subsequent arrest information immediately from the Department of Justice. So if you are arrested over, well, anytime during the week or the weekend, it pops up in subsequent DOJ system, and Mr. Bixler is notified because one of his technicians checks that daily to make sure to supply him with that information.
Oh, great. That's really, that's really important. Thank you
Yeah,
so
and
much.
it's neat that Rowland Unified actually we do the fingerprinting
Wow.
here in-house, and so we have access. Many school districts, well, several that I know of, send it out to the police department. Let's say Baldwin Park has a fingerprinting system, but then they're not as privy to that subsequent information like we are, so instantly Mr. Bixler would know if there's a problem with any of our employees that have been fingerprinted, and they've had the fingerprinting here for years. Probably Phil George knows. Has it been since you've been here, or?
Well, the new system, it's been a long time, even the new system, over 15 years.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
I'm sorry, but I have another thing to say. It's only for the new employee it's only for the new employee that does the fingerprinting.
All new employees, all employees are fingerprinted.
After that stage, after they become already our permanent staff, how do we know that you're in there working, that you have this DUI during, say, the past weekend?
Department of Justice keeps everybody in there that we fingerprinted until, so let's just say somebody quits, and then Mr. Bixler gets a subsequent arrest on somebody who doesn't work here anymore, then he tells DOJ we don't need that anymore, and we take them out of the system. We don't take them out of the system, we take them out of the system when they're no longer here or they get.
No, I think my question is who?
How long?
Yeah, and who's
Forever.
going to inform us? Like if somebody has a DUI, then an
Next week.
employee has a
How long before
Right-
the district?
Right away.
right away? Like,
Once
I mean,
it's
with
tied
it-
into the system then?
I'll be happy to help with this. So every district employee is fingerprinted, as Ms. Stiglmar stated. Some employees get both fingerprinted for Department of Justice as well as FBI, in fact, most do. And so any event during any employee's tenure with the district, if someone is arrested within generally about a 72-hour period, that comes in the system. This happens with every single school district in the state of California. Whether we have a live scan machine or not, you're automatically notified through the Department of Justice of a subsequent arrest. On that sheet, it would tell me the name of the person, it would give me their birth date, it gives the offense that they've been arrested for, and so that's strictly confidential information. As they go through the legal processes, there's updates if there's a conviction. So, and those come automatically as well. So, and that's not just for those districts who have a live scan machine, but every school district in the state of California, because we all know student safety is the most important thing in a school district. If our kids aren't safe, we're not doing our job.
So thank you to
Thank you. With that, we'll go to number 8.1, exam review and recruitment bulletins. And we've received information regarding A, community liaison bilingual Spanish, as well as B, executive secretary. I'll move on down to 8.3, ratification of eligibility list, and to ratify the following eligibility list. If you don't have any problem, I'll go all three. A, air conditioning and heating mechanic. B, grounds construction worker. C, school bus driver. I have a motion to open. Okay, let's see, any questions? None, hearing none, we'll call for the vote, all in favor? Aye. 8.4, removal of names from the eligibility list. Ratify the following removal of names from the following eligibility list. A, custodian, ID 364528833 regarding PC Rule 6.1.10 as well as 6.1.10.2. And B, grounds maintenance worker regarding PC Rule 6.1.10 and 6.1.10.4, ID number 212399936 regarding PC Rule 6.110, as well as 6.110.4. So we have a motion to open. Any comments, questions? Hearing none. Call for the vote. All in favor? Aye. Input or comments from personnel commissioners? You first.
Sure. Well, actually, we don't have a lot to report, but I know that there will be on October 19th, I think there's a breakfast for the community thing that you don't report it if you haven't had it on your agenda. So, but anyway, I wanted to add it to your, okay.
No problem. Yeah, I apologize for not including on this, but I have sent it to you all so that you would remember in our weekly report. Thank you.
I will attend to, I look forward to it.
Okay. That's it. Judy?
First, I would like to,
I'm sorry. First, I've got to, just a news for the community that we are going to have a Buffalo Day Parade on October 13th, and I just would like to encourage, everybody, bring your families and friends to watch it or participate. It's something that is not, we don't have a whole lot in Rowland Heights, and this is one of the biggest event that, put bring the whole community together. So I would really like, to encourage everybody, if possible, please participate. And also, another one is for the employee training. I just want to encourage all the employees that if it's possible, take the training, it's paid, that's the best thing, first of all. And second, that it gives you the training that you will need in the future for your career moving. So it doesn't matter whether, you're still with RUSD or other outside opportunity. Hopefully that we would like to, everybody stay and moving up. So, this training is really, really important and useful and knowledgeable, informative to, all the employees. So I really would like to encourage everybody, just try to participate. Thank you.
Are you talking about the winter training?
So the one we're just talking about it,
I was going to clarify.
The training?
It's a free training, but it is not paid. Employees are not paid. Yeah, well,
oh,
that's the one, no,
I thought
it's
there
not.
was a one that says paid. We don't?
No, that's the winter.
Oh, that's the winter, yeah. So, yeah.
Whatever,
But it
So-
would be worth your while. But that is one I did put on here because I didn't want to keep talking about for 3 more months, is the winter training that we all got the flyers that Mr. Bixler and Sharon Career are putting together on January, is it 9th and 10th?
I think, yeah.
9th and 10th.
And that one is,
That one is paid because our employees are on winter break. Otherwise, they don't have enough vacation time typically to pay them. So that was kind of the district and the union negotiated that so that they could get paid for
Yeah,
those few
it's
days.
paid, it's get you away from whatever, burden you every day, Take it as like mini vacation. So, I really encourage everybody to participate.
no, they're great trainings.
Thank you.
I've gone to every single one. They're really good.
Thank you. Just thank you for attending this meeting. It's good to see some faces that I haven't seen for a couple of months. Just to let you know, I was busy. I went to the Nogales tailgate party. We didn't get as many people as I thought we would. This was my first time to attend. But we still had a lot of food, and it was good to meet some other people that usually I never get to see.
And who won the game?
To tell you the truth, I left at halftime. After halftime. But
Rowland
Rowland was ahead, so I guess they got the trophy.
Rowland did win.
Yeah, they got the trophy. Just a reminder, this Friday is our PCASC training, no?
No, it's on November
November
2nd,
Okay,
in another month.
okay,
All right.
sorry.
Okay.
And just also a reminder that now it's time to the holiday season. We haven't discussed, it's our turn
Right.
with CSEA, so we need to start looking out for our CSEA every year with, as well as commission, take turns on inviting for dinner. And it's the commission's turn to invite you, and we'll get our paperwork and dates ready so that we can invite your board. And just discuss matters that you seem important, that, Okay? Oh, that's right, and just a reminder, at the last meeting I had said to Jessica, you know, when we probably meet you, see your analyst, and just to, just let you know that, about a week and a half later, she ended up having her son, Mr. Valentin is his name, and, she's September 9th, and mother and child are doing fine. And with that, I'm gonna call for us to close this meeting, and our next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, November 6th, at 2:18 at 4:30 PM in the boardroom. I have a motion to close. Okay, Judy, Sabrina, at 5:12? 5:12. All in favor? Aye. Thank you for coming.